Motorists can actually look forward to a little breather as the price of fuel is expected to drop next month. And here's, you heard that correctly. Both petrol and diesel are expected to drop by R2.90 respectively. The Automobile Association's Layton joins me now to, of course, tell us more about this. And Layton, a pleasure having you. Good morning. And thanks so much for your time. I'm sure some would agree that this may be a good compensation if we don't get the Springbok holiday that we so badly want as a country, seeing that decrease expectation from next month. But take me through the data and what it's telling us.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly great news, and I think it comes off the back of really, really great news over the weekend as well. So, I think South Africans may be on a bit of a high for this week. Look, I mean, the data is indicating that we're looking at a decrease of around R2 a litre for petrol, just over R1 for diesel, and around R1 over more or less for illuminating paraffin. Obviously, we've got to wait for the official announcement by the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. That's expected sometime today. In fact, I think many people, or some people, may have been expecting it already over the weekend, considering that the adjustment has to be made on Wednesday. So in other words, tomorrow night at midnight. But that data is pointing to those significant decreases. And when you look at where we've come over the last 3 months and the price of fuel, this is really going to be quite significant relief for many people.
Absolutely. And not just consumers, Layton, I'm sure even for major industries such as agriculture and manufacturing, they are just literally reeling and need this relief, right?
No, they certainly are. I mean, when you look at some of the financials of some of the retail companies, and the amount of money that's being spent on things like diesel and generators, we're talking astronomical figures. When you look at the farming sector, at the agricultural sector, farmers are having to put in plans, to accommodate for the rolling blackouts. And that's costing a lot of money. And so, when they have to produce food, the cost of producing that food is just so much higher, and it's obviously passed on to consumers. So when we do see, diesel increases, I think a lot of people sit back and go, we're very worried about this. And obviously we are, because that has an impact on other things like inflation, and all of these things. So it certainly is bad news when that price goes higher. It's good news that the price is coming down. I think from an input cost, we may not necessarily see it reflected right now in the cost of goods and services. It'll take some time for it to filter through. If we've got significant decreases over a period of time, that's great news, but let's see what happens going into December. I think the fact that this is happening in November, ahead of the December holiday period, is good. Obviously, we're going to wait and see what the picture looks like for December. But at the moment, I think we'll take this very significant decrease going into November, especially off the back of the Springboks winning the World Cup as well.
Oh, absolutely. I can take this decrease anytime, post this win by the Springboks, Layton. But, I mean, the key word here, the buzzword still being expectation. It's expected that in the next 2 weeks in November, this official announcement would be made. But while we wait for that official announcement, any key external factors that might actually, sabotage that upward trajectory? I'm talking here about the influence on petrol prices. Perhaps there are key things that are happening around the world that we need to be aware of that may cause a negative impact to the prices.
Yeah. So, Tamela, I mean, just to clarify, the price is being changed on Wednesday, this Wednesday, the 1st of November. And I mean, it is the first Wednesday of the month, and so that's when it has to change. Look, I think a lot of people are looking at the developments in the Middle East, going that's going to have a huge impact on the fuel price. We're looking at supply chains are relatively stable for many of the other countries in the world. And fuel supply is also stable. So if you look at supply chains and supply, there's no real issue there. We've seen a bit of a downward trajectory in the price of international oil, which is good news. We've seen the rand strengthen a little against the US dollar. Last time I checked, it was at 18.83, which is a lot better than it was, last week. So, I mean, those are two very important factors. Obviously, local factors will influence the value of the rand against the dollar. We know the AGOA meeting is happening sometime in the next couple of days, so that may have an impact on the value. But, I mean, again, it's something that we monitor on a daily basis. there are always going to be factors that are going to put pressure on our local fuel price, and they're going to put pressure on that international oil price and on the value of the rand against the greenback. It's about how we manage it, and I think at the moment, given the fact that the rand is strengthening, it does indicate some measure, but we need to be a lot more proactive in making sure that we do that going forward as well.
Absolutely. We're waiting, of course, to hear that announcement not happening in 2 weeks' time, and Layton bringing that point of clarity and correction on the 1st of November, which is this coming Wednesday. That's when we're, of course, expecting that announcement. Thank you so much. Layton Beard, Automobile Associations. Layton Beard joining me right here on Newslink regarding that expected announcement of petrol and diesel prices going down.